If you want to get started as a mobile content creator or a mobile YouTuber, this video was made specifically for you, and I've got you covered if you're on an Android or an iOS device. I'm going to cover all sorts of things in this video that can help you get up and running, including apps for video editing, apps for photo editing, apps to make your graphics like video thumbnails and your channel art. I'm going to talk about microphones and wide-angle lenses and tripods and all that good stuff. So make sure to stick around and watch this video to the very end. And if you are new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Nimmin, and on my channel, I help mobile content creators and mobile YouTubers. So if that is you, if that's something that you want to get into, and it probably is because you're watching this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, followed by the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Now, let's get to the first question that I'm asked the most on this channel. What's better, an Android or an iPhone, and does the make and model of your phone even make a difference? This is a question that I get asked the most on my channel, and the truth is, it actually doesn't matter. The people who are coming to watch your videos, they don't care what you made it on. They don't care what you edited it on. They don't care what you made your thumbnail with. The only thing they care about is the story that you're telling them, the message that you're sharing with them, or the value that you're giving them, or the information that you're giving them. That's what they came for. How you shot it, how you made it, they don't really care. So when it comes to one over the other, it comes down to personal preference. Which one do you like the best? Which one's easier for you? Which one fits better into your workflow? I have Androids and I have iPhones. I personally like iPhones because I like the way that it works. You might like Android. There's no right or wrong. They're both equally the same, especially if you're picking up any of the flagship phones that have come out lately. They're all about the same. And if you put videos side by each or photos side by each, and I didn't tell you which one shot it, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But I will say this, if you are on a Windows-based machine, it can be easier to work with an Android phone. And if you're using an iPhone, it's a lot easier if you do have an Apple, especially if you're using the AirDrop feature. So think about your workflow and think about what you need. But when it comes down to making content, just get the best device you can afford, because it's more important that you learn how to use what you have, because the gear itself isn't actually that important. People don't care about your gear. People care about what you're sharing with them, what you've made with the gear. That's the important part. So buy whichever one you want to buy, get whichever one you want to get, use the one that you want to use. Don't let anybody tell you different. There is no right, there is no wrong. Android, iPhone, it's all the same when it comes to making content. It's not the gear, it's you, the creator, that makes the difference. So now that we've put to bed the debate between Android and iPhone, let's talk about the actual cameras in your phone. Now, the cameras in your phone are actually pretty good, especially if you have one of the newer flagship phones. But if you find that you don't have manual controls, check out one of the following apps. Check out Moment Camera Pro or Filmic Pro. Both of those are paid apps, but you do get what you pay for. They're absolutely amazing, and they're available for both Android and iPhone. And if you're an Android user and you need something free, check out Open Camera. Now, you don't have to use manual controls. You can shoot in auto and just run and gun with that. And sometimes I do that myself. But if you find that you're having color shifts or exposure shifts where you're getting too much brightness, or maybe you turn one direction and things look kind of weird, that's when manual controls really come in handy. You can really dial in the look to get the exact image that you're looking for. And if this is something that you choose to do, spend a little time on YouTube and learn about exposure, learn about white balance, and learn about frame rate. And here's a quick tip when it comes to frame rates. Most people on YouTube are shooting either 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. So spend some time researching that to make sure you choose the right frame rate. And when you're out and about and you're shooting, if you want to get that slow motion buttery B-roll that so many vloggers use, you can shoot that in 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, and then slow it down inside your editing software, and that's going to give you a smooth, fluid B-roll clip. And of course, we can't mention cameras without talking about the lenses themselves. Now, here's something about smartphones. Smartphones love light. The little sensors that are inside the cameras, they're a lot smaller than a DSLR. That means they need more light. So that's why when you see content that's shot outside in the daytime, the footage looks great on a phone, but then you come inside in a lower light environment and things start to get grainy and it has trouble with focus. It doesn't look so good. That's because the sensor inside your phone loves light. So shoot with as much light as possible. If that means that you need to get a lot of artificial light, do that. Build that up inside of your house, or sit next to a window and let the natural light wash in and wash over you. It looks really nice. And if you are shooting outside, shoot in the shade and not in direct sunlight, because direct sunlight isn't so flattering on your face and it looks really harsh. While shooting in the shade or shooting under an overcast, a cloudy day, that softens the light and it's a lot more pleasing on your skin. And since we're talking about lenses, let's talk about wide-angle lenses. Wide-angle lenses, you've probably seen them. You've probably seen people talking about them, and it's these little things right here. They're tiny little lenses that screw into your phone or into your phone case. And I'm gonna explain when you need them and what they're for right now. The purpose of the wide angle lens is to get more of the shot into the lens. So let's say that you're shooting and what you're looking at right now is what you see through your viewfinder. And you're thinking, okay, that's great, but it seems a little tight. I would love to get more of the shot into the frame. Maybe you're shooting in a small room, maybe you're shooting in a car or a van. If you're into van life, I'm a big fan of van life. And you're thinking, how can I get more into the shot? Because when I pull out my phone, I can't get the shot that I want. Everything is so cramped and so tight. So when you put on a wide angle lens, it's gonna go from looking like this to something that looks like this, where you can suddenly see all of the background. It's gonna get everything in the shot. And here's another cool thing about wide angle lenses. A lot of people ask me, how can I monitor myself if I'm using the better camera, if I'm using the rear camera on my phone, not the selfie cam? How can I make sure that I'm in the shot? Well, I guarantee you, if you put a wide angle lens on your phone, you hit record and you start talking into that while you're out walking around, you will be in the shot. Now, when you pull it into your video editor, you might have to crop it and move it around to make sure that you're centered or wherever you want yourself to be. The wide angle lens is gonna pick up a lot of the background, so you will absolutely be in the shot. But do you need a wide angle lens? And the answer to that is simply no. You don't need a wide angle lens. You don't need anything that I'm gonna talk about today, but it can make your life a lot easier. It can make shooting content with your phone a lot easier, especially when it comes to wide angle lenses and shooting in a smaller confined space, or you want to make sure that you're in the shot while you're using the rear facing camera on your phone. And of course, if you're interested in checking out some wide angle lenses, I'm going to put links to a couple of my favorites down in the description below. Now let's talk about audio, because sound is 50% of the video experience. So while people might forgive a video if maybe the lighting's a little bit off or the white balance is a little bit wonky, they're not going to forgive bad audio. So let's talk about audio here. Now, the mics that come with your phone, they can get the job done. You can definitely record with the microphone that comes built into your phone. That's fine, but if you can upgrade, if you can spend a little bit of money, here are some options. If you're on a budget and you don't mind a long cable, check out a microphone called the BOYA BYM1 lavalier microphone. This currently costs around $17 US, and I'll put a link to this down in the description below, along with links to any of the other microphones that I'm talking about today. The BYM1 lavalier microphone is a little clip-on microphone that clips onto your shirt collar, or it goes underneath your shirt, or you can hide it wherever you want. It actually sounds pretty good, and I have a video on this that I'm also gonna link down in the description below. Now, if you have a little bit more money to work with, Rode makes a great little microphone called the Rode Video Mic Me and the Rode Video Mic Me L. One of them is for Android, one of them is for iOS devices. These microphones actually sound pretty good for the price, and I'm gonna link out to a video that I made in Vietnam using one of these mics right here. So tap on that if you're interested in checking one of these microphones out. Taking a step up from there would give you a microphone like the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. Now, this is a larger shotgun microphone and it sounds really good. All of the content that I'm shooting outside these days, I'm shooting with the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. Be sure to check that out if you're looking to step up and get the best sounding audio possible for your smartphone. Now, of course, you have a ton of microphone options to choose from. These are just some of my favorites, and it gives you a starting point so you can look at these and then figure out for yourself which ones that you like and which ones make sense for you. But keep in mind, you might not necessarily want something with the cable if you're shooting stuff that requires more activity, because the cable is gonna get in the way. On the flip side, you might not want a larger microphone if you're doing activity or if you're vlogging or you're moving quickly, because it might flop around on the top and might easily break off from your cold shoe mount. So just think through the type of content that you want to make and make sure you get the right microphone that's not too big or not too small, or it doesn't have too long of a cable that's going to get in the way. Now let's talk about gimbals for a second. And here's the thing about gimbals. You really don't need a gimbal unless you need super smooth cinematic type footage. If you're trying to make a film, or maybe you're vlogging and you don't mind traveling with one of these things and you want the smoothest footage possible and your phone doesn't have any sort of stabilization built in, pick up one of the smaller gimbals. I'm gonna put a link up on the screen to a video that I made right now using the Vlog Pocket. So check that out and you'll get an idea of how a gimbal works, and you can decide for yourself if you need one or not. But most people, you don't need one of these. Having said that, there are a couple of things that gimbals can do that might be of interest to you depending on the type of content that you make. If you're trying to do a time lapse and you want movement in the time lapse, a gimbal can do that. A gimbal can also do tracking shots. So say you want to track a car or something as it goes through the scene, you can tell the gimbal, you can tap on the screen and say, track this, and wherever that goes, the gimbal will move and track it. This can also come in handy if you're vlogging, you're outside, you can track your face, and you don't have to worry about if you're you're in frame or not, because the gimbal's gonna track your face. Moving on to tripods and mounts. Now, instead of talking about them in this video and making this video longer than it has to be, if you're interested in mounts and tripods, I'm gonna put a link to a video that I made right here. All I talk about are mounts and tripods, and I explain them and what to look out for when you're buying one. So be sure to check that video out if you're interested in purchasing a mount or a tripod for your smartphone. And as a side note, in that video, I talk about this Joby Gorilla Grip being my favorite mount. Well, this has been replaced for a couple of reasons. One, it started falling apart on me and I don't like that. Number two, when I told Joby about it at VidCon Australia, the guy at the booth said, yeah, well, you get what you pay for. So shame on you, Joby, for that. And number three, the switch pod has been released and this thing is awesome. Now you do need to get a mount for it, and I also suggest getting a ball head for it. I'm gonna make a video on this, a standalone video that's gonna be coming soon. This thing is amazing, so keep your eye out for this video. It's coming and it replaced my Joby. Now moving right along, let's talk about photo apps. Now photo apps are made to actually edit your photos, increase the brightness, add saturation, remove saturation, make your photos pop, make your images look better. Here's what I've got for that. I have Lightroom, Snapseed, PhotoFox, and QuickShot. Now, I don't have full tutorials on all of these yet, but I do have a full tutorial on Snapseed if you're a beginner and you're wanting to figure out how to use Snapseed. And I'm gonna put a link to that right here. All the others, I will link to them down in the description below. These are the best in my opinion. And that brings us right along to graphics apps. Now, graphics apps are a little bit different because this is where you're gonna make your YouTube thumbnails or you're gonna make your YouTube channel art. This is where you can frame things out perfectly. And for this, I recommend either PixArt or Pixelab, or I recommend Canva. Canva is really fantastic for beginners, and I have a tutorial on how to use Canva, and I'm gonna put a link to that video right here. Now, part of the workflow might be you might use Lightroom or Snapseed to make your video look better, then you might import it into PixArt or Canva and actually build your thumbnail or build your channel art on top of that. So it's a process, figure out your own workflow, but Pixelab, PixArt, and Canva, that's what I've got for graphics apps. Now let's move right along to video editing apps, and this is probably one of the ones you've been waiting for because I get asked about this a lot. On the iOS side, check out VideoLeap, LumaFusion, and KineMaster. These are my top picks for iOS users. If you're an Android user, check out KineMaster, PowerDirector, or Adobe Rush. Those are my top picks for Android. And of course, these aren't the only video editing apps available. There are a ton of options out there. These are just my personal favorites. But if you're currently using something else that I didn't list, go down, leave a comment, and let me know what you're using. If enough people like it and give it a thumbs up, I'll do a full tutorial on it. So go down, leave a comment, and let me know what it is. Now, no app list would be complete without talking about YouTube statistic apps. And for that, it's pretty simple. You've got the YT Studio app and you have TubeBuddy. These are my top two apps in terms of statistics, but on the iOS side, you also have YT Tracker if you have an iPhone and you're interested in that. Links to all of them down in the description below. I have all three of these apps on my phone and I use them all for different things. Download them, check them out, see which one works best for you, or maybe all of them's gonna work for you. You can answer your comments, you can keep track of your statistics, you can keep track of your watch time, you can download milestones. All three are fantastic apps, links down below. And that brings us to the most important part of the entire video, and that's that none of this stuff even matters. Here's what matters: being a good storyteller, sharing your message, being a good communicator, getting what's in here out to there in an efficient way that people respond to. If you make content that people respond to, if you make valuable content that people like, you will succeed on YouTube. And here's another tip: don't chase subscribers. That's not going to get you anywhere. Focus on building a community. Focus on helping people. Focus on adding as much value as possible if you want to succeed on the platform. If you do that, if you focus on sharing your message, telling your story, building a community, you will succeed on YouTube and beyond. I promise you that. If you want to learn more about making content with your smartphone or being a mobile YouTuber, be sure to hit that subscribe button, followed by the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Whoa.